What's going on, world? It's Hank back with Sports Game Vision, here with a new segment called Sports Unfiltered or Sports Game Unfiltered, Sports Game Vision Unfiltered, whatever you want to call it. It's a new version of the show or my platform where I'm just going to talk without the green screen, talk about a topic or two. In this case, I'll be talking about super teams and if they still can work in this league, especially with the player empowerment movement strategy. As we just saw, we seen that Minnesota put out the Phoenix Suns, a team that had high expectations this year, high hopes of winning a championship with the squad that they put together. Three veteran players who has had a very good career, especially two of them, and the youngest one he's having a great career, but he still hasn't had his full prime yet. But either way, everyone was expecting them probably to be around the top three teams in the West, maybe even in the league. And they went down to the 6th seed this year. They made the playoffs, barely made it in that 6th seed. Was probably going to be the play-in had they lost one more game, or maybe even two. But either way, it was a disappointment because they got swept out of the first round and they lost to a team that's pretty much a number one seed themselves. They lost out on that number one seed the last game of the year. Three teams in the West were tied in the last game of the year. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. But Minnesota is a very good team this year. It's a great team. In a lot of ways, I feel like they are a super team. But we're going to digress on that and talk about the Phoenix Suns. Do you think this is the end of the player empowerment movement? Or do you look at it in a different way like I do, where it's just situational? I don't think that it's over with. I do think that players can come together and build a super team on their own. In this case, it was done through the organization. Kevin Durant was traded to Minnesota by Brooklyn, but it was still player influence because he requested to go there. And he wanted to play with Devin Booker, and the Bradley Beal situation, I'm not sure if that was something that D-Book and Kevin Durant kind of planned as well, but it does seem as if there was player influences in influencing that as well. But the organization made it happen with Matt Ishbia spending that money and doing the things he wanted to do. He really wanted to get Kevin Durant badly. As a matter of fact, they've been some rules for him to get it. I don't think he was supposed to get Kevin Durant that trade, but they made some adjustments so he was able to make that trade at the deadline last year. But, either way, I just think that if you're going to have a super team that's influenced by the players or the players coming together like Kevin Durant did in Brooklyn or LeBron did in Miami, the players have to pretty much be in their prime. They got to be willing to sacrifice to win. Can't be ego on the line. They got to sacrifice defensively and offensively and make adjustments so the team can win a championship. You may not get everything you used to have on your other team, but definitely can be done. In my eyes, the start of the super team era was really Boston, but that was player and team influence, team first, player second, but definitely was a super team. But the LeBron one was more of a player making it happen. It's a half and half when Kevin Durant went to Golden State. Those players wanted to play together, but of course we know they were built through the draft. And we have other teams right now that are possibly super teams as well. Denver possibly can go back to back. That team is stacked. Boston on the other end, that's pretty much a super team, especially if they win. Minnesota is looking like they could be one. When they finally get all back together, it was looking like the Memphis Grizzlies were going to be one. But of course, OKC, looking like the young Thunder from Kevin Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, and Ibaka, and those guys, they're looking like they could be a super team as well as time goes along. So super teams are going to be there with teams with a lot of stacked players, but you definitely can build one from player empowerment, players coming together saying, hey, I want to play. They have to sacrifice, not just defensively, and their attitudes and lifestyle, but also financially. They may not be able to go after the maximum bag. If I know I compare with these guys and won a championship, you give it a 2-3 year window, player option, see what happens. Pray to God nothing's crazy happen with your health, but you'll get the money. You'll get more money in the end. You'll get the endorsements and things of that nature. But that championship is worth money. That championship is worth your legacy, and you got to do it in your prime. You got to sacrifice. That's the main thing. It does work. It's not over. It's not dead, and it's not going to be dead because they're going to do it through the draft. But the actual players coming together, that's not dead either. Kevin Durant probably would have did it in Brooklyn. Circumstances happened. Injuries. People having to make personal choices that didn't help the team, but it happened. They would have went to the finals that year against Milwaukee. Milwaukee beat Phoenix. So there's a great chance that Brooklyn could have did it too. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. I say it's not over with. I say it's not dead. Sports Game Vision. I'm Hank. Sports Game Unfiltered. Signing out. Peace.